Did you ever feel anxious? Did you ever feel depressed? Did you ever feel like you don't know which career path to choose? Did you ever feel so stressed at work or stressed because you don't even know why? Because maybe you keep comparing yourself on social media or whatever. I think this episode of this podcast will be very, very interesting for you because our guest today is striving for helping humanity and he's on human purpose. Please, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. It's very interesting to have the setup here.
Yeah.
So I'm a mindset coach, international speaker, best-selling author, and I overcame my own depression and anxiety without doctors or medication. And that's the reason why I started a business and why I came to do this as a coach.
Yeah.
And started helping people because, yeah, it's like you said, have you ever struggled with that? When people are in the depths of the depression or of the anxiety and it seems like there's no way out, it's really powerful to just see somebody who's like, yeah, I've been there, I know how it is, and this is what you can do or you can get out of it.
So just briefly, because you don't say it, what is your name and your age and
right.
where do you come from? But that's good because you jump on it, I like it.
So my name is Ondra Niemczyk.
Yeah.
I'm from the Czech Republic. I'm 24 years old now.
Yeah.
And
24?
24, yeah.
Okay, all right. That's good to be like, I wasn't like that. At 24, I was stuck behind Fortnite and playing some video game and them shit. That's amazing, man. Can you talk a little bit more about your own social anxiety journey and how did you even notice that, like you're surrounded, but you feel yourself like very anxious, and what is your story, if you can diving into it?
A big part of it was because I was getting bullied.
Yeah.
So that was a part of where it came from. I also had very strict and critical parents and a lot of screaming and yelling and physical punishments. So it was always like protecting myself. Like people were very scary because of that.
Yeah.
And the way it showed up for me and how I knew that I had social anxiety was because I just like couldn't get my words out sometimes.
No.
I would almost stutter, and whenever I was in a social situation, my heart was beating 10 times faster than normal, and my hands were like shaking all the time, and it was just overthinking. Oh, what is this person thinking? What is this person? What if I say the wrong thing? What if this? And I was just super scared of the judgments and being in danger. It felt like I'm always in danger when there was anybody around.
Okay. Honestly, I try to put myself in your place because I think I never have this kind of feelings. But that's really interesting because I see there is more and more people concerned about that topic. And do you have, sorry, directly asking them maybe one of the main questions, but what are the strategies to fight this anxiety? What do you do on a daily basis to try to feel better about yourself?
Yeah. So personally, I didn't go to doctors or therapy or medication because of my kind of mindset. My parents were like, just don't be a little bitch, just get over it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not that simple, but that was the mindset. But generally speaking, like it was. So what I did, I just Googled how to be happy, and one of the things that I found, I think it was a website called WikiHow, because I just didn't want to be like this anymore. I just Googled how to be happy, and one of the lines was be confident. And I was like, wow, I'm not confident at all, so maybe, that's gonna help me be happier. And I Googled how to be confident. And I found some steps or ideas. And one of the things that I started doing was what I now call like a confidence building habit, which to me back in the day, I was around 13 years old when I started doing this.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, I'm gonna start waking up half an hour earlier or an hour earlier before school. I'm gonna go for a run every morning.
Oh, so physical activity.
Physical activity and doing something that's like uncomfortable, it's outside of your comfort zone. And also my thinking back then was like, I'm gonna start my day with something that's good for me, something that like is gonna make me stronger rather than waking up, oh fuck, I gotta go to school and deal with that again.
Yeah, jump on it, like eat the frog.
Exactly.
Yeah, during the morning.
Running in the morning and then doing a little bit of workouts and then meditations and I tested all of it. Basically, right? I was just like trying to figure out, okay, how do I make myself stronger? How do I make myself feel better? How do I make myself improve my life? So then it happened actually, let me backtrack a little bit, because before I was blaming everything outside, right? I was like, well, I'm having an awful life because of the bullies. I'm having an awful life because we are poor. I'm having an awful life because my parents are really mean. I'm having an awful life because of this, everything outside. And then one day I was just like, you know what? What if I can do something about it? Like, what if maybe I am actually weak? What if I am this like tiny shy kid, and what if I can do something about it? So I stopped blaming everything else only, and I started looking at myself as well. I was like, well, what could I do, right? Like, if I have a role in this, what can I do? Well, I can become more confident, I can become stronger physically and mentally, I can build better social skills, I can figure out how I can, what to say, how to say things, right? I can get more comfortable in these, and that became kind of my focus of like, how can I improve myself rather than blaming everything outside.
All right, that's great, because you come from a place or you start questioning things, like you feel it, and you wasn't stuck too much in I'm a shit, I feel bad about myself, I just stay in my bed all day and feel tired, I don't want to go out. I think that's the first step, is starting questioning all the things happen to you, and then you have this duality, and you're starting to questioning everything around, and maybe you try different things. And you talk about challenging yourself. I think that's the main thing to do, right? Challenging yourself. Start to do something you never did before. Start to pushing more weights, and that sounds really. Everyone say that nowadays, but that's the thing. Like, start to go for the first time at the gym. Even if you don't go to the gym, like, just put your shoes, go outside and walk. That's the first thing. Like, take action. And you know, if some people have social anxiety and they reached you, can you help them? Like, did you personalize things by people, or like do you have a general method to help everyone, or do you believe that everyone is different? And I think, of course, everyone is different. And do you have a method for different kind of personalities? Or
it's both. So there's like a general structure or like general pillars and ideas that work for everybody, but then everybody's specific situation is different. And well, one of the, let's say, overall principles is the idea of like the cycle of personal growth, which is one part is internal work and one part is external work. So internal work is when you are looking at your own beliefs, you're looking at your own trauma, you're looking at what's happening internally, how can I manage my emotions, right? And we can target that with meditation, or there's hypnotherapies, or there's inner child work and healing trauma and talking through, you know, building self-awareness of like, why am I anxious, where is it coming from, those kind of things. And then external work is going outside of your comfort zone and practicing training, right? And then specifically with the external work, I believe that we kind of have to go like one step forward with internal work and one step forward with external work. And then the kind of work is different for people, right? So that's kind of the framework, but the specific is different, because somebody might have social anxiety because they got bullied. Somebody might have social anxiety because they really fell in love in primary school with this girl and then got rejected really hard, and that caused them a lot of mental problems, right? It can come from very different ways. So we have to target that specifically. And with external work, I like to look at it as like a video game in a way, right? So let's say that I want to overcome social anxiety, and my main goal is to be able to pick up girls on the beach or on a bus, let's say, right? So, but I cannot even speak up in class. I cannot even make a friend. Right. So I'm somewhere over here, and I want to be somewhere over here. Like, and it's in levels, like in a video game. So you cannot jump from level 1 to level 10, because if you try to do that, you're gonna get your ass kicked and never want to play the game again. And many people make this mistake. They're like, I'm gonna overcome social anxiety. I'm gonna do it by talking to girls, and then they get rejected 2 times. Like, I'm never doing that again, and they get re-traumatized in a way. So you want to start level by level, right? So you figure out, okay, well, I'm really anxious about just saying hi to somebody, so I'm not gonna try and get somebody's number. I'm just gonna start waving at people. I'm gonna start sending messages to strangers on Facebook, for example. That's one of the things that I did. I'm gonna start sending voice messages. Okay, I'm more comfortable with voice messages. Let me do video messages. Let me do voice calls. Let me do video calls. Oh, okay. And now I've built up confidence. I've built up my skill. I've built up my character in a way, right? Through the experience. And so now I'm more ready to tackle the higher levels. And that's why I can do podcasts now and speak on stages and host events, because I've built up It wasn't like going from this to directly here. It was like step by step.
Sure. So all these people, they come with the being statement. We just say like anxiety and stress. What's your approach to help them? What's your approach with social media? I'm very interested about that. Well, what is your, I mean, you know, when it's come for social media, do you try to help them to build up their own idea or insight with social media, or did you try to, I don't know, implement a block screen? Do you say to them, the people you want to help, do you say to them, finish social media, just just get rid of that entirely and delete them on your phone? Or what is your approach with social media?
With social media, it's interesting because it's not the social media itself, it's more so how we use social media.
Yeah.
And I believe that there are unhealthy ways to use social media, and then there are also healthy ways to use social media. Like, I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for social media and the way I used social media. And then for some people, maybe in the beginning especially, it might be the best fit to just, hey, completely delete social media and don't go on it for the next 2 years, or don't go on it for at least 2 months or something, to at least reset yourself.
Yeah.
But more so, it's also long term, it's like there's amazing opportunity on social media, and you can use it in healthy ways to support your growth rather than hinder it, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people basically use social media very passively. But you can just think of these keywords, passive versus active use of social media.
Exactly.
People use social media very passively, 90% of users, if you look at the numbers or something like that. It's very, even though there's so many creators like us, still majority of people are just passive users. So they basically never comment on anything. They maybe double tap the screen once to like, but they're only scrolling, right? And they're only consuming all of it. They don't have any conversations, they don't have any interactions, they're not creating their own content. Yeah. And that's very unhealthy. That just leads into comparing yourself to other people's lives, and you think, oh my God, everybody has an amazing life and my life kind of sucks. And you're just feeding into that depression with only consuming all of it. So if you're only doing that and you're not interested in being more active on social media, just delete it. Like,
that's why I love YouTube so much. You can learn everything on YouTube and you can choose your own content. It's like, you know, it's, if you're acting like it's a TV in front of you and you're just going by and they choose what you consume, right? The algorithm choose for you what you consume. Yeah. And that's why I like YouTube, because basically you can choose your own content and what you want to work for. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Even scrolling on Instagram or TikTok can be actually done in a healthy or like supportive way. If it's controlled in like how long you scroll, and like if you save it, for example, you want to connect with people, because it can be really great to help you connect with new people, for example, or new ideas completely, right? So if you schedule, okay, I'm gonna scroll on TikTok for this hour, and I'm gonna try and meet new people, I'm gonna engage, I'm gonna leave meaningful comments, or if it's something that's important, like a tip for personal growth, I'm gonna take notes on it, right? Yeah. And I'm gonna be really active with the content, not just you can do that on YouTube as well.
It's about being conscious. And here I have a tip for people listening to us, because it actually happened to me the last month. Do you have more guy or more women in your people who reach you? There is more. Did you even?
I think it's almost 50-50.
50-50, okay. So as a man on Instagram, and maybe you know what it is, like everyone, I used to scroll a little bit, of course, like every day. And on Instagram, and I believe that was more last month, when I scrolled, there was like, there is a lot of soft porn. Yeah. The women, like, they jump and they have like everything moving and stuff. And I was like, every time I open Instagram, it's here. So I was like, what the fuck is this, man? And I just start to push the 3 points and say, I'm not interested into it. And now my content is much better. Like, I can scroll and have only like, so it's about self-improvement or video editing, because I mainly do video editing, videography stuff. And I almost, it's finished. Like, I don't have this soft pornography into my phone. And you know how it is. Like, maybe you're the man watching this, they're stuck in the room and they're here with the soft pornography, and they can go to the, to the vices circle then, because you have this, and then there is so much things we're gonna be linked with this type of content. Maybe you're gonna eat more junk food, you're gonna play video games, you're gonna do whatever. But I think that was a great tip, because when you have something very not interesting, or you're conscious about what you consume and you don't want to see it ever again, you just press the 3 points and say, I'm not interested, and it's a way to fix it.
Yeah, you can curate your feed, but like you said, you have to be really conscious of it.
Yeah.
Right? So like, and the way, if that's what you're experiencing on social media, what you gotta do is, okay, set aside the time and like put yourself into like, okay, I'm gonna go and curate my social media right now.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can't just go, you just can't expect yourself to like, you're feeling like shit. Right, and you just like want to have a break, so you open Instagram and you can't expect yourself to do that.
Yeah.
Like you're just gonna consume whatever you see. So you have to really set aside the time and be very conscious about, okay, now I'm just gonna curate it. I'm gonna make sure for the next hour I'm gonna put not interested on everything that I don't want to see. That's not good for the future version of me.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm going to watch and engage more with everything that I want to see.
Yeah.
So then the algorithm relearns, okay, he's actually not interested in this, he really wants to see this. This is what he's watching, this is what he's engaging with, so I'm going to send him more of this.
Yeah, great. You know, when I arrived on your Facebook page, because that's how I discovered you, I saw your mission, your purpose. So number 1, eliminate social anxiety and loneliness. We just talked about that. 2, help people start impactful business. And 3, create a healthy relationship between humanity and technology. So 3, create a healthy relationship between humanity and technology. Right? And for the second point, help people start impactful business. I really want to have your insight on a question. You know, I love these topics. I think so many people looking for finding the purpose of their life. Because I believe we are an incredible generation, but right now there is so many choices. Like you don't know what you're gonna do. Maybe you're gonna create content, maybe you wanna be a professional gamer, maybe you wanna be an athlete, maybe you wanna be a coder, but you don't know if AI gonna replace you because everyone's starting to say that. Like, what is my purpose? How can I help people? Because I believe the true happiness come for helping people and have bigger mission than only yourself, right? So, do you have any advice for someone who wanna find the purpose of his life?
Yeah. So I will start off with this. Stop trying to find your purpose. Instead, start creating your purpose. So there's so many people, and I don't like the word because like it sounds like, oh, you just go, and especially us as nomads or travelers, like it's like sometimes people expect I'm just gonna go to a trip in India and like all of a sudden, oh, look at this, my purpose, like, oh, here on the floor I found it. No. Right? So I started coming up with this idea of like creating purpose. It's more active, it's coming from you, it's coming from within, rather than you're gonna find it somewhere outside. And I created these like few pillars or steps of like, this is what you can kind of follow so that you can create your purpose. And it comes, you said it already, like contribution. Like contribution is a big part of it. And the way I see it as well is, first you start off with looking at yourself, what is my biggest issue, what is my biggest challenge right now, and what can I do to overcome that? That's really like the first step of creating your purpose, is solve your own problems, whatever they might be, right? For me, that was social anxiety and depression, right? And then I started looking at, okay, now once you're already solving your own problem, right, you've taken more responsibility about you, or maybe you've already solved your problems before. We all, if you've lived for more than 20 years or 15 years, you've had problems before and you've solved them somehow, right? So you can already tap into what you've done before. And then you look at, okay, what are the problems in the world that create an emotional response in me? And that can be frustration, that can be sadness, it can be anger, right? So there's a lot of problems that the world has. And if that specific problem has an emotional reaction for you, it means that there's humans are emotional creatures. We operate always on emotion. So sometimes that might be sadness. Like I was really sad that other people are still struggling with social anxiety, and I know how that feels, right? So, okay, and then you say, okay, that's a problem that creates an emotional response in me. I'm gonna step up and I'm gonna start creating solutions. I'm gonna start helping people and helping the world with that specific problem, right? And you can really choose any problem. If you base it on the emotions, it can be like, oh, like it's making me really angry that there's animals who don't have food, for example, right? Okay, well, what can I start a shelter, or can I do this, right? And then you create the purpose out of that. You don't just find it. You can actively create it, and then you start working on. You can start a business. You can start creating videos. You can start networking, and you can start creating ideas. Okay, what are the solutions to this problem, and then a company can come out of that, or a project can come out of that, or really anything that can potentially come out of that as the solutions to the problem, and that becomes a part of your purpose.
All right, I really like it. The approach is different than I heard before, than what I heard before. Like it. And about the last point, like you say, and is on your bio, create a healthy relationship between humanity and technology. What is funny is I remember when I passed my grade in France in school, that was the subject of the baccalaureate. You say baccalaureate in English? Like the final grade of the high school.
Right.
That was like, I believe, because that was 10 years ago, that was like how the machine and the human can live together and be destructive. And you have to do that was a philosophy subject, and you have to do thèse, antithèse, and like synthesis, right? So thesis, antithesis, synthesis. And what is funny is like 10 years after, that's more real than ever, right? This subject. So this is the third point of your mission: create a healthy relationship between humanity and technology. And I just want to know what's that mean for you?
Yeah. So we live in a world where technology is becoming bigger and accelerating more faster and faster, and it's becoming more and more of a part of our lives, right? And my specific angle on this right now is with social media, right? Because social media is this piece of technology that's causing so much anxiety, and we already all talked about it a little bit, right? The active versus passive use, and healthy and versus unhealthy way of using social media, and just thinking about it and putting it out there, like, okay, think about, are you using the technology in a healthy way, or like, are you getting used by technology, or like, are you getting used by other people who use the technology to do something to you, right? Like, with social media, why is it free? Because, well, the technology is using you to exploit your attention, to get paid through you watching ads and getting brainwashed, basically, right? So, and then AI, of course, is is becoming a bigger part of that.
Huge part, yeah.
Bigger and bigger.
That's the biggest investment right now in the world. I have this conversation. I'm sorry I call you, but yesterday I speak with my family, and I speak with my father, and I used to say, like, before armaments and war and all the armaments, the weapons and stuff, the defense, that was the biggest investment of the states, right? And now it's AI. Like everybody, the states and the biggest company, everybody invest massively in AI, right? Yeah. So this is the biggest thing. And as you said, we live. It's not the future. It's right now. It's the present. AI is right now. It's the present. So I cut you what you say, like you want to help people to grow with that and to have a better understanding. Yeah. Like so maybe it could be financially and also like emotionally. Yeah. That's
it's mostly right now I'm focused on the mindset and like helping individuals. This is me personally helping individuals create a better relationship with their phone, with their computers, with gaming consoles, or with also personal AI, right, like ChatGPT and things like that. Yeah. And social media. On a bigger scale, there's places like Center for Humane Technology. I think that's like a non-profit institute, places like that. There are other things that are working on more so the regulations and all of that. I might become a bigger part of that later.
All right.
Right now, I want to just more so teach people the ideas and be more conscious of, okay, how can I use the social media? How can I use technology? How can I do this in a healthier way that it's good for me? Yeah. And also spreading a lot of optimism, because there can be a lot of pessimism. It can be really tough. Like, oh my God, AI is going to replace me and this, right? So how can we adapt and create even a vision of a positive future where technology and humanity is like living together, coexisting, and creating better opportunities for like the next evolutions of humans and all that. Just at least push out the ideas and the optimism into that, and then some practical things as well, how we can do it in daily life.
Amazing. What's going to be the next biggest evolution for you, and what are you doing?
The next biggest evolution for me is definitely keep using technology to enhance human interactions rather than take it away, right? So that's going to be the big shift over here, how we can still stay in touch with humanity and preserve our humanity. And you can see a lot of trends, like it's going to be easier and easier to isolate yourself. Like you're not going to have to talk to humans at all, basically, because you're just going to say something to AI and it's going to take care of everything. So I believe that that's going to lead to a lot of depression and isolation and anxiety and a lot of mental problems, because humans are we are social creatures. We're meant to be together.
All right.
Right.
Can you talk about your personal project? What you're doing here? We are in Asia, Vietnam, and how you want to fight it in the future? Do you want to gathering people together? You want to spreading your knowledge, and how people can find you on YouTube, on Instagram, on LinkedIn?
Yeah. So you can find me anywhere with the nickname or like the username of RoboHumanist. RoboHumanist, combination of robots and humanism. Yeah. And the ways I'm doing it, I host content creator meetups, I host masterminds, I host open mic events where people can bond. So I provide the spaces. I also share the knowledge. I'm one of the speakers at the Nomad Fest coming up in March. And we're looking into some bigger local projects as well to bring people more together through physical spaces and more conferences and meetups and things like that as well.
All right, amazing. I will link all these things in the behind the video, below the video. Sorry. Yeah. Do you have any final word for the final word? Do you have any advice for people watching this video? You can take a minute to think about that.
Based on the conversation that we talked, in the context of the conversation, I would say try your best, and you'll never be perfect, but try your best to use social media specifically these days. Because if you're an individual watching this on social media is one of the biggest opportunities that you have. So use it in a healthy way, meaning how can it enhance your personal growth rather than take away from it, right? So really try and build habits and boundaries about how you use it. And just putting the intention into it will make all the difference. And then you can learn some of these hacks or these little strategies. That's not as important as just the overall mindset and the overall focus of, okay, I'm going to be somebody who's using social media in a healthy way to enhance my life rather than it taking away from me. And just live with that mindset, and you'll see in the next few years how it will transform your life.
It's about being conscious, right?
Exactly.
I'm here, I'm conscious about what I'm doing. Yeah. I'm conscious about where I am. I'm conscious about what's the people around me doing. And it's all about being conscious. And if you're conscious, you already take advantage of the game of life, right? Thank you very much, Andrea. For a guy, I know age means nothing, but 24 years old, that's amazing, because maybe this is not good, but I'm comparing myself right now, and at 24 years old, I was not, conscious like you. So that's great. Thank you very much. Thank you for podcast.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah.